Hello, my name is Dr. Bryan and I'm here with some Healthy Hints for Harmony. Today we're going to be talking about glute activation and basically how to do a couple of different screenings or a couple of different tests to see whether or not you actually can activate your glutes properly. So the first one that we're going to talk about here is this supine glute squeeze, where you are laying against something that's a little bit harder, like maybe against the floor, and you would basically squeeze your glutes together in order to see whether or not you can actually activate them, because many people can't. So again, you would lay on the floor and then go ahead and try to squeeze them together. Good, and relax. And because of the firmness of the floor, again, that's going to lift you up when you do it, and it gives your brain an idea of what's going on, and it actually helps you to actually activate them, which is why this one's a little bit easier. You should be able to, again, squeeze them both at the same time and relax. And then not only should you be able to squeeze them together, but you should also be able to squeeze each side separately. So go ahead and squeeze one side and relax, and then go ahead and activate the other side. Good, and relax. Again, this one is a little bit easier to do than the other ones, but let's take a look at the other screens to see whether or not you can actually activate those glutes properly or not. All right, so after we do the other one, now we do it standing. So in a standing position, basically you should be able to engage both your glutes fairly easily. So you can reach back and you can actually touch with your hands on the back, which can help you actually engage it a little bit more. But first thing, go ahead and squeeze both of them together, and then go ahead and relax. And then you should be able to squeeze one side, and then you should be able to squeeze the other side. Okay, so after you've done the other two tests, this next test is a little bit harder. It's a little bit more difficult for people to do. So if you're able to do the first two tests that we've done, this one might be a little bit more challenging for you to do. So basically what you're going to do in this position is the exact same thing as the other two. You should be able to actually squeeze both glutes at the same time. So go ahead and do that. Again, it lifts you up a little bit when you do, and then go ahead and relax. And then you should be able to squeeze one side, and then relax, and then squeeze the other side, and relax. Again, this is something that's going to be a little bit harder for people to actually get a hold of. Okay, so now you've seen a couple of the other screening tests, let's go ahead and talk about the tests that I actually do in my office in order to see whether or not people have proper glute activation or not when they're doing certain activities. So this test is basically a prone hip extension test. And what you're going to do when you do this test is that you're actually going to keep your legs straight. Again, you lay on a surface, again, that's flat. It doesn't necessarily have to be the floor. It could be the bed if you wanted to, or on a couch if you wanted to. But basically, you don't want to sink into it when you do it. But the idea is that you're going to keep the legs straight when you do it, and you're going to lift the whole leg up and off the table and keeping that leg straight. So let's go ahead and watch her do it. So go ahead and keep the leg straight and go ahead and lift it up. And go ahead and relax it back down. And then go ahead and do the other side. Good. And back down. Excellent. So there's a couple of things that if you just do that and you watch it, there's a couple of things. You don't have to go up super high. That's one thing. But the other thing that you'll notice is that when she did it, she had her legs straight. She didn't bend her knee. And that's one thing that you look for when you do this test to see whether or not people have too much activation of the hamstring. If you have too much activation of the hamstring and not enough of the glute, then people will just involuntarily bend their knee as they're lifting it up. So that's one thing for you to look for. The other thing for you to look for is to see the actual contraction that you have in the muscles. And the issue with this is that this isn't something that you can see as well, and this is hard for people to actually feel on their own sometimes. So that's why sometimes it's better to have somebody that knows what they're doing do this test with you to make sure that you're actually activating your glutes correctly. So let me show you how I do it in my office when it comes to the actual activation and feeling for what's going on. So the first thing is that you actually are going to feel, and you're going to poke into the hamstring, and then you're going to poke into the glute that's here. And you also poke into the back as well, and you're going to palpate all of these muscles, and you're going to see what muscle fires first when you do this. So go ahead and lift up the leg and keep it straight. And go ahead and relax. Good. And relax all the way. And this is the part where people have a problem where they'll continue to keep the glute contracted in this position, but they won't relax all the way in between different lifts. So go ahead and lift it again. Good. And drop back down. and then you're going to go ahead and lift on this side. Good, and relax back down. Good. So that's going to be the way that I would test it in my office, and there's a very specific pattern of the way that things are supposed to fire. The first thing that's supposed to fire is not supposed to be the hamstring. The first thing to fire is supposed to be the glute. The glute contracts first. It doesn't necessarily have to lift everything off, but you're supposed to feel the contraction in the glute first and then the hamstring. Sometimes you can feel it in both at the same time, but you should never feel it in the hamstring first, okay? So that's the first thing that you do. Then there's muscles that are going to fire up into the back here as well, but that's not what we're looking at as much right now. So in order for you to feel this on yourself, again, you have to make sure that you're completely relaxed before you actually do the move. So we're going to have you actually reach back, and I'll show you how to do it. So go ahead and reach back with your arms, and you're going to reach back on one side, and you're going to go ahead and palpate the glute on your own glute. And then you're going to go ahead and reach back with the hand, and you're going to push in, and you're going to palpate the hamstring. So you're pushing in on both of these, and you're relaxed all the way. You don't want the glute to be contracted or the hamstring to be contracted. You want everything to be as relaxed as possible. Now what you're going to do is you're going to do the same thing again, where you're going to go ahead and keep the leg straight, and you're going to lift up the leg. Good. And relax back down. And sometimes you have to, again, relax it all the way, and then go ahead and do it again, and relax back down. Now when you do that, you should feel one muscle contract before the other, typically. Now which one did you feel contract more?
Hamstring.
Your hamstring, right? So again, that's something that shouldn't be there. When the hamstring is contracting first, that means that you're going to end up having too much activation of the hamstring and not enough activation of the glute. So this is especially an issue if people have had chronic hamstring strains, or if you have problems doing with deadlifting and not moving enough weight, or if you have problems with squats and activating the glute in multiple different sports. So there's a couple of different exercises that you can do in order to actually help to fix this problem. And we'll go over those in another video. So hopefully that you've enjoyed this. Hopefully you can see what's going on with how to actually test to see whether or not you have proper activation of the glutes. And we'll go ahead and see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.